4D Maleficent with her dragon acrylic nailer tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi everyone! So in today's video, I know I started a huge series with my last upload, and I'm going to start a small one for this one. And this is actually something I've been planning on doing for months. And all of a sudden it was Christmas season and I was doing Christmas nails and I did not get it done. So I am like, okay, finally, no longer worrying about that. Time to do this one that I've been so eager to work on. It is shape-shifting villains, shape-shifting Disney villains. So my favorite villains are, well, Cruella, but she doesn't shapeshift, so that's too bad. But I will be doing a Cruella nail as well. But I'm going to be doing Maleficent. So I've got Maleficent on top in her normal human form, her normal fairy form. And then you take that piece off, it's on a magnet, you take that piece off, and underneath it's while she's her dragon. So that's really cool. I love that. That is like my favorite one, I think. And then I've also got the Evil Queen from Snow White. So I've got that one with her underneath, and then I've also got Ursula. So those are the three that I'm doing. I love these nails. In today's video, it is going to be Maleficent. I wanted to start with my favorite. I hope you guys like it, and I have done several other Maleficent videos, and I'll put links to those in the description box below, so check those out, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well. So to begin with, I began with an overlay of mint green acrylic, which is the same color that I used for her skin. I wanted there to really be a really nice contrast between the light and the dark, and since so much of her is dark, both the 3D one and the painted one, I really needed to make sure that the background was light, and I wanted to keep it green. So I went with the same color as her skin, but everything shows up really well, so that doesn't matter. It's not like it doesn't show up then. And before that acrylic was dry, as you can see, I put a magnet right about the very center of the nail. With all of these shape-shifting villains, I knew that the 3D item would be very large on the nail, so the magnet could go just about anywhere. And if you wanted to make sure it was extra secure, you could put in 2 magnets, but I have found that I think the pieces attach and stay on there perfectly well with just one. Then encase the nail with a layer of clear acrylic, just to make sure that it's nice and smooth, and to make sure that the acrylic is exactly built up to the height or past the height of the magnet. Then file the nail into shape with an e-file, or you can use a hand file if you like. Either way, I'm using my e-file, starting with a coarse bit to remove any bulk, and then going over with a finer bit. And I did file it all the way down to the magnet. So when you file over the magnet, you hear like a little zing sound. I can't really make it, but you can hear, if you're listening, you can hear that you have hit the magnet, and then just stop filing over that area, but do file all the way down to the magnet so that it will be as strong as possible, because there's nothing interfering between the two so they can actually touch. So now on the nail, I'm going to be painting my adorable little dragon. So I know this is one of those things that most people are like, adorable dragon. I love dragons. I think they're awesome. You guys will see, I've done other dragon, non-specific dragons, but other dragon videos in the past, and I'm sure there's going to be more in the future because I really enjoy them. But anyways, I'm going to be painting her dragon. I started with black paint, and I'm going to be just doing basically her outlines to start with, and then afterwards I'm going to go through and I'm going to start filling in everything. But I did her face, and then down the neck, and then just a little bit of the chest. I didn't do the entire dragon because it is so big that you would lose a lot of the detail on a nail of this size, so I just decided to shrink it down to mostly head and neck, just so you could actually see teeth and all of those wonderful things. I know in a video that I uploaded very recently, I said that I was feeling like doing something with big teeth. Well, here it is. I know a couple people commented that it was funny that I said that I wanted to do things with big teeth, but it's true. You know, sometimes you just get an itch to make something with big teeth. So I did Maleficent's dragon. I thought that was a good one. But I filled in that front tummy patch with a darker purple, her mouth with yellow, her wing, just a little bit of that one wing shows with gray, and then she's got a little frill behind her horns with gray as well, her nostrils with yellow, and her eyes with a very limey green. So now, going back over that tummy area, because the first layer of that purple paint didn't really cover it completely for mine, I just went over with a second coat, and then with a lighter shade of purple, I'm going to be blending in the little panels. Dragons seem to have or reptiles, a lot of them, have these panels that go across their stomach. I always think of a snake's stomach. That's, the little platelets that help them move along. So make sure you add those, and then go back through with black paint and start touching up your details. Add the little lines to separate the segments out in the wing. Add the little spines that go down her neck. Add her teeth. Add the little chin, beardy chin things. I know I'm so specific and descriptive here. And then add the little lines on her horns with lighter gray so that she's got that little texture on them, which you will also do on the bigger one, or the fairy form later. After that, apply a layer of gel sealer and throw that into your lamp to cure. After that's cured, you're going to want to take and grab a piece of plastic wrap. I'm using Saran brand, but does not really matter whatever kind of plastic wrap you've got. I know where I'm from. I don't know if this is a normal thing, but we just usually call that stuff Saran wrap. So it's always weird for me to call it plastic wrap because to us it's just Saran wrap, even if it's not Saran brand. But wrap your nail as tightly as you can with that stuff just to make sure that you minimize the amount of wrinkles. There will be a couple wrinkles in your plastic wrap because it is darn near impossible to get it to be wrinkle free. If you do, congratulations, because that's amazing. But just because of the way the nail curves, you can stretch it so it does get some of that curve, but there's going to be some wrinkles. Then place a magnet. I know that I'm sculpting her horns right now with black acrylic, but grab a magnet and then place it over the top of a plastic wrap over where it is in the nail. So it'll just click right on, but so that you've got nail, plastic wrap, magnet, just like a little stack. And then you're going to be sculpting your Maleficent 3D fairy on top of that. So I started with her horns. You just kind of have to pick a spot to start. For I know that the other two villains I did, I always started with their faces when I sculpted them. And I also started with their faces when I painted them. This one I did a different, I don't know, she's different. She's not the same as the rest. So I did her differently. But I started with her horns, and then I went through, and there's a little bit of a really thin collar that goes around on her dress. So there's these little black parts that stick out there, and then going back to that same mint green that I used for the background of the nail, I'm going to be adding her face. So when I was sculpting Maleficent, like I said, I've made so many other Maleficent videos, and she, I think, is the best one that I've ever done. I'm never 100% happy with my Maleficents. I don't know what exactly the deal is with them, but I'm always like, this could have been better. So I keep sculpting them because it's like, you know what, eventually I'm going to get one that I'll be like, this one, this is it. This is the one. And it's not there yet. It's not there yet, but it will be at some point, I think. I hope. It will. Anyways, add her face. I think the problem is because she's got this curve, so you try to make her, the little, like, the widow's peak even, and it's not even because she's got one eyebrow that's lifted, which kind of pushes the one side up, so it's a little bit offset, which to get that angle right, I think is, because my brain always wants to make things very symmetrical. Like I will, in a restaurant, I will straighten out, like make sure everyone's silverware is straight. I'm kind of OCD and crazy that way, but so I think it's just weird to get it at the right angle there. Anyways, after you got that done, you've got all of her green on there, go through with a darker purple acrylic and just add the next layer of her dress. So she's got a little bit of black and then some purple, and then go through after you've got the purple on there and fill in the rest of the nail with black. So the purple comes down, and then when it gets to about the chin where the two sides meet, it goes straight down because that's like, I don't know, I guess if it's zippered or buttoned or whatever, but her dress or her cloak, it's got this center seam that comes down that's purple. So just continue that purple down after it gets to about where her chin is, but like I said, fill in the rest of that then with black. And I know that my plastic wrap was a little bit wrinklier than I probably would have preferred, so I had some areas of acrylic that were very, very thin when I took it off, because when I was wrapping the nail with plastic wrap, it just didn't get smooth enough. So when I took it off, like I'm doing right now, wait till the acrylic is fully dry and then very carefully remove it. There was just a couple areas that needed some more acrylic. I don't know if you could see where that you could see through it some. So I'm going to just very carefully file away any of the little, I like to call them stalagmites or stalactites. File away any of your little stalactites that are sticking out from the plastic wrap that kind of snuck through. And then I just took a little bit more of the black and the purple acrylic that are on the bottom of her dress or the shoulders of her dress, just to thicken up those areas, because that's where I had the most wrinkles and that's the areas that really needed just a little bit of help. I didn't have that issue with the other ones, the other villains that I did, but if you guys are making all of these, that is always something you can do. And then with any design, if you're ever working on something and you think you're finished with a step and you look at it and you're like, that could use a little bit more, go back and add it. There's no harm in that. You can always fix things up or file things away if it's too big, so you can always adjust. So then I just took and I flipped that over, and I'm adding just a touch of clear acrylic to fill in some of the bigger gaps in the bottom, just to make this piece nice and strong. That's kind of your goal with this. You want to make sure that it's not something that's going to be breaking. So you want to make sure that it's thick enough that it will be able to be sturdy and hold up against the wear and tear of daily life. So now I'm going to be painting my Maleficent with some black paint, and I'm going to start, and I just kind of fixed up her jawline. I thought it wasn't quite sharp enough looking. That is the one thing about villains that is nice to kind of keep in mind if you know this, and it's something that pretty much goes across the board. Any villain in a in any kind of a animated thing is going to have much sharper lines than the good guys. So as you can see, like her horns, they got sharp little peaks. Her eyebrows are very, very pointed. They're not sharp points, but they come to a sharper point than you would probably normally see. And she's got the points on the collar of her dress. So just kind of everything has a little bit of a point on it. Her jawline wasn't quite sharp enough or straight enough for me, so I decided just to straighten that up with the black paint. But then go through and add a little bit of lavender in her eyelids and some white in her eyes, and add her lips with red. Just a little bit of red. Just she's got fairly thin lips, but she's definitely got red on them. Then touch up the black on her eyelashes. You want to make sure that line is nice and thick to make them look a little, I mean, she's still a queen. She's still kind of glamorous. So then I've also added her pupil, and then with the same gray as I used on the dragon form underneath, I'm going to be adding those little gray lines across her horns, which is one of the great things I think about this character, is that a dragon and this fairy, there's so many common features with them that you really can tell that they are the same. They're the same person, which doesn't go so much with the other two that I did in this series, but they don't shapeshift the same. It's not like they're changing themselves to not look the same. They're disguising themselves, where she's not disguising them herself. She's making herself just a little bit more evil. So then I applied a layer of matte top coat over the 3D piece. Once that is dry, you can stick these together and see how they look. I think like I said, this is the best Maleficent one I've done so far. I also made a Maleficent ring, which is a video that I mentioned I was going to be making this series so long ago, so I'll put a link to that one in the description box below. Please share recreations with me on Facebook or Instagram, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!